What happens when God gives you an assignment and you decide to run? There was a prophet named Jonah, a man who heard the voice of God and knew what it meant to obey. But one day God gave Jonah a command he did not want to follow. Go to Nineveh, that great city, and call out against it, because their wickedness has come before me. Nineveh was a powerful city, known for its great strength and its wickedness. But instead of going where God sent him, Jonah went in the opposite direction. He traveled toward Joppa, found a ship heading toward Tarshish, and paid the fare to sail away. Jonah was not simply changing his plans. He was running from the assignment God had given him. But you can run from a place. You can run from a responsibility. You can even try to run from God's calling, but you cannot outrun God. As the ship sailed farther from land, Jonah probably thought the matter was settled. But then, the sea began to change. A violent storm suddenly swept across the waters. The wind roared. The waves rose higher and higher. The wooden ship groaned beneath the force of the sea. The sailors were terrified. They threw cargo overboard, desperately trying to keep the ship from breaking apart. They cried out to their gods, but Jonah was below deck, asleep. The captain found him and called out, demanding that he wake up and call upon his God. Eventually, the sailors cast lots to discover who was responsible for the disaster. The lot fell on Jonah. They questioned him, and Jonah told them the truth. He was a Hebrew. He worshipped the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land. And then Jonah confessed something that changed everything. He was running from the Lord. The sailors became even more afraid. They asked Jonah what they should do to make the sea calm. Jonah told them to pick him up and throw him into the sea. The sailors did not want to do it. They tried desperately to row back to land, but the storm became even more violent. Finally, after praying for mercy, they took Jonah and threw him into the sea. And suddenly, the raging sea became calm. The storm stopped. The waves settled. The silence must have been overwhelming. The sailors stood in awe, and they feared the Lord greatly. But Jonah was now beneath the waves. He was sinking into the depths of the sea. Yet God had not abandoned him. God provided a great fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah remained inside the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. There, surrounded by darkness, Jonah prayed. He remembered the Lord. He recognized that salvation belongs to God. Jonah had tried to escape God's presence, but even in the depths of the sea, God could still reach him. And when the time came, God commanded the fish. The fish brought Jonah safely onto dry land. Jonah had been given another chance. Then the word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time. Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and call out against it the message that I tell you. This time Jonah went. He entered Nineveh and proclaimed God's warning. The message was simple and serious. Nineveh would face judgment. But something unexpected happened. The people believed God. They humbled themselves. They turned away from their wrongdoing and cried out for mercy. Even the king heard the message. He rose from his throne, humbled himself, and called the people to turn from their evil ways. And God saw what they did. He saw their repentance. He saw that they had turned from their wickedness, and God showed them mercy. The city that deserved judgment experienced compassion instead. But Jonah was not happy. In fact, Jonah became angry. He had obeyed God's command, but when God showed mercy to Nineveh, Jonah was deeply displeased. Jonah prayed and admitted that this was exactly why he had tried to run away. He knew that God is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger, abounding in steadfast love, and willing to show mercy. Jonah went outside the city and sat down, waiting to see what would happen. Then God provided a plant to grow over Jonah and give him shade. Jonah was pleased about the plant, but the next day God provided a worm that attacked the plant and it withered. Then the sun beat down on Jonah and a scorching wind came. Jonah became miserable and angry, and God used the dying plant to teach him a lesson. God asked Jonah why he cared so much about a plant he had not created or cultivated. If Jonah could have compassion for a plant, should God not have compassion for the people of Nineveh? Thousands of people lived there, people who did not fully understand right from wrong, and God cared about them. The story of Jonah is more than a story about a prophet and a great fish. It is a story about obedience. It is a story about mercy. It is a story about a God who pursues people even when they run from him. Jonah ran from God's calling, but God pursued him with mercy. Jonah obeyed, but God also wanted to change Jonah's heart, because obedience without compassion can leave the heart unchanged. And God's mercy is greater than our anger, our prejudice, our failures, and our disobedience. So today, ask yourself, is there something God is calling you to do that you have been running from? Is there someone you are struggling to forgive? Is there a place where God is asking you to show compassion instead of anger? Jonah discovered that no matter how far a person runs, God's purpose cannot be defeated. And sometimes the greatest miracle is not that God changes our circumstances, but that He changes our hearts. May we learn from Jonah to obey when God calls, to trust when we cannot understand, and to show mercy because we have received mercy.